Hello everyone. In this video, we'll talk about the chloride content and nitrogen content in water. For more such videos and solved examples, you can sign up on our website apsc.in. The link is given in the description. So if we talk about the presence of chloride, here we are talking about the chloride ion, not about the chlorine gas or elemental chlorine as we say, because there is a huge difference between the two. The chlorine, elemental chlorine, works as a disinfectant, which is very important, but chloride does not have any such properties. So you should remember the difference between the two. So how this chloride is present in water? So basically most common form is due to the common salt NaCl. So from this we get the chloride, and the reasons why it may be present in water. So first of all, it can be there from the industrial waste and from the households also. So from the domestic water, domestic waste also, the chloride is present because there are these salts in the urine. So from that chlorides comes in the water. And if an area is near sea, so from there also there can be some leaching. I mean, there can be infiltration of the sea water in the groundwater of an area. That so from the coast it is possible for this water to infiltrate into the groundwater, and that may, when we take this groundwater out for usage, that may have some chloride. So these can be the main reasons. Now how does the chloride affect us? So as such, directly it does not have a negative effect, but as we can see that it is present in industrial waste and domestic waste. So if chloride is present in a water body from where we are taking the water for consumption, if chloride is present in high concentration, then it will indicate the industrial pollution. Then how do we measure the chloride content in water? So in the lab experiment, we measure it with the help of titration. So this titration of water is done with the help of silver nitrate solution AgNO3, and the indicator that is used here is potassium chromate. So this method of chloride measurement of water, it is also known as the Mohr method or argentometric method. And if we talk about the limit of chloride, so as per IS 10500, the chloride content is limited to 250 milligrams per liter, and if there is no other source, then this limit is 1000 milligrams per liter. Then next, let's talk about the nitrogen content. So nitrogen indicates the presence of organic matter in water, and there are different forms in which nitrogen can be present. So these forms are free ammonia, then second one is organic nitrogen, or also known as albuminoid, then there is nitrites, and last one is nitrates. So these all the different forms indicate the stages of decomposition, stages of decomposition of organic matter. That is, if free ammonia is present, that will indicate the organic matter that is present in water is very new, that is the source of pollution, or the source from which the organic matter is coming, that source has released some new organic matter, that will be indicated by the presence of free ammonia. Then organic nitrogen tells the organic matter that is undecomposed. Nitrates indicates the partially decomposed organic matter, and nitrates indicate the fully decomposed. So free ammonia, as I said, it indicates new organic matter. Organic nitrogen is the undecomposed part. The nitrates is partially decomposed, and nitrates is fully decomposed. Now for the measurement of these different forms, so for free ammonia, free ammonia can be measured by boiling the water. So boiling can be done in a closed container. So due to this boiling, ammonia gas is released from this water that comes out due to the decomposition of this organic matter. So this ammonia gas is released, so we measure the quantity of this ammonia gas, so that tells the amount for this free ammonia. And for organic nitrogen, as it is the undecomposed organic matter, so first we need to decompose it. So for that, KMnO4 is added in this sample. So this potassium permanganate is added, which is an alkaline solution. So with the help of this, we can fasten the process of decomposition. So with the help of the addition of potassium permanganate, we first decompose this organic matter and then again boil this sample. So in this part, after this boiling, the ammonia gas will be again released, and that will tell the quantity for this organic nitrogen or albuminoid. So first we'll take a water sample and boil it. So in this stage, the NH3 or ammonia that is released tells the free ammonia. Now for this same sample, we'll add KMnO4 and then after some time again boil this sample. So in this stage, again ammonia gas is released. So that tells us the quantity for organic nitrogen. And the summation of this first one and second, like free ammonia and organic nitrogen, it is known as the Jadal nitrogen. Then if we talk about the nitrites, so these first two forms, free ammonia and organic nitrogen, they are, the limits for these two are limited to, so free ammonia can be there up to 0.15 milligrams per liter, and organic nitrogen is limited to 0.3 milligrams per liter. Then next we have nitrites. So nitrites are highly dangerous for health, so it should not be present in water at all. So the limit for nitrites is nil. It should not be present in water at all. And if we talk about nitrates, so nitrates, as I said, it shows the fully decomposed organic matter, so it can be, so it is not as harmful. So the limit for nitrates is 45 milligrams per liter. Now, as such, nitrate is not very harmful, but if the concentration is excessive, then it can cause a disease in babies that is known as blue baby disease, or also known as methemoglobinemia. So for the measurement of nitrites and nitrates, color matching techniques are used, like how we have understood for turbidity. So with the help of these color matching techniques, we can find out the quantity for nitrites and nitrates, and this way we can measure all the different forms of nitrogen that are present in water. So that is about the chloride and nitrogen content of water.